What's up, guys? Thanks for checking out our second episode of the Hunt Recap. This one is going to be really short and simple. This is a really straightforward scenario, but I wanted to share it because it's been one of my most consistent public land setups over the years. I've actually been fortunate enough to take two nice bucks in this exact location and a third, just in a different area on this property. So I wanted to make sure I shared this one with you. This is a scenario I use as a formula when I go to look at new properties. So like I said, this will be really quick, really simple, but it's one I definitely wanted to share. All right, so what we'll do is we'll take a look at the map here. You can see that this area involves some swamp stuff. There's wet, nasty, thick stuff that surround this peninsula. And so what we'll do is go through and circle our bedding areas just like we do all the time. This bedding area is massive. You get bedding all in here. You get good bedding up top here and all down here. And the bedding they're using is usually based on the wind, right? So this is all private, by the way, so we weren't able to walk this. It looks good on the map, and when we started hunting this, it was very obvious that deer are bedding in these areas based on the movement on this peninsula. There's some oaks on this peninsula as well up in here, and it's a pretty thick peninsula as well, so they have good cover and they really like it. This peninsula here is probably 15 feet or so higher than the surrounding low areas. So because it's higher in elevation, you get some of those effects, with thermals and the wind, and that plays a huge role in this spot during the rut, and that's why it's a really hot spot. So when we hunt this spot, what I do is I usually try and hunt it on a west or a north wind. The most success I've had has always been on a northwest wind. And so in that scenario, I always access the same thing. I access from the south here, walking into the wind. I go over here, sneak up in here, and then I sit right on the property line, which is right about here, in a nice big tree, and it's a little bit more open up there, whereas it's thick down in here. So this is where it's really straightforward, right? They always say hunt downwind of bedding areas, and this is the exact situation where that comes into play. It's very easy for bucks to cruise this edge and monitor all this bedding right in here, especially on a northwest wind. And to make it even better, since it's higher elevation on that peninsula, you actually get some thermal activity. So if you look at what the thermals are going to do in this scenario, if this is higher, as the sun rises over here, excuse my extremely poor picture of a sun, it's going to heat up this ridge in here. And as that happens, you're going to get thermals that start to rise up this peninsula. So this is an awesome scenario for a buck looking for does, right? He can literally just cruise this edge on a northwest wind, and he can scent check this entire area with the wind. And as the sun heats this up, he's going to get some thermals that are going to allow him to scent check this area. So that combination of thermals and wind is really the key to this spot. It's been very consistent. If those variables and those conditions happen on a hunt, I have very good buck movement during that time frame window of October 25th through November 8th, or give or take a couple days. But that's the entire point of this video, is pay attention to the combination between the wind and the thermals. Don't just look at the wind. Think about those thermals as well, where the sun is going to heat up the ground quickest, because that's going to determine where your thermals are going to be rising. And then think about how a deer can use those to be more efficient when they're looking for does. Now, when both the bucks I shot at this spot were actually shot literally in the same exact spot, and they were doing the same exact thing. So like I said, I was sitting right about here, and Both the bucks that I shot were cruising this edge. The first one was cruising south to north on a north wind, and I shot him right here. And then the second one, sitting here again, and he was cruising north to south. I shot him almost in the exact same spot. They were doing the exact same thing, checking those bedding areas surrounding this peninsula, using the thermals and the wind to their advantage. And if you can replicate this, like I said, I use this as a formula when I look at other spots. How can I get that combination of thermals and wind to ambush a buck who's trying to take advantage of that? So anyway, very straightforward scenario. I hope this was helpful. Maybe you can use it as you're looking for some rut spots. But anyway, that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching, and comment with any questions or feedback. Anyway, thanks. We'll talk to you soon.